So, Manfrotto have got a new line of bags that have just come out. There's a few different versions. They've sent me this one for the time being. This is called the Pro Lite. I'm excited. Loads of compartment space, and these dividers are really hard but padded at the same time, so your gear is going to be nice and safe. A full video on this coming soon. Then I've got these two things that I can't talk about yet because it's a secret. And then Ulanzi have sent me this super clamp. Great for mounting your monitors or cameras, microphones or any sort of equipment really. Super strong and sturdy. Love these things. And it also comes with like a action camera / GoPro mount as well. So you can mount your GoPro on anything. Anyway, with all that out of the way, it's kind of a quick video today. I want to talk about the new Retro LUT pack that I've just released. It's available on my website, there'll be a link below. But I'm going to show you how to use them, how they work with different log profiles and therefore cameras, but also why they're different to any LUT pack out there. Now I'm still working on a full colour grading video, so stay tuned for that one and make sure you subscribe to the channel and press the notifications on so you don't miss anything. So, I'm a huge fan of the 80s retro style look. I love the old films and I just love the way they look. And I want to make a lot of my videos look like that as well. So that's why I created these LUTs, mainly for myself. But I wanted maximum flexibility for when I change cameras because I want them to look good no matter what camera I use. LUTs are notoriously difficult to work with because there are so many variables when it comes to what your footage looks like, with what camera you're using, your settings, the lighting, the colours. So I wanted to make them as versatile as possible for everybody. And I'm going to explain all about that in a little bit. So each LUT has its own individual style and colour, and obviously you can use these in the main editing programs like Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, and any program that accepts a .cube file. Now I'm so excited to share these with you now because it's taken me over a year to do now, but I'm glad it took so long because now they're even better than they would have been if I'd have done it a year ago. And that's because if you like me and you've tried using LUTs before, you've probably ran into the same problem where you put the LUT on and then the contrast is way too much. So you dial back the intensity, but then you lose all the colour of the LUT, so it kind of becomes redundant then, and you can't really do much to it. Well, I've solved that problem by basically creating two different versions of each LUT. One full version with the full colours and the full contrast curve, and then one with just the colours. So you can go in and add your own contrast for full flexibility basically and make it look exactly how you want it to. So you get 14 LUTs in total, 5 main ones with 2 different versions, so that makes 10. And then 4 bonus LUTs, one of which I used on the S5 video. If you haven't seen it, there'll be a link up here, but a lot of you commented on those colours, so I thought it'd be good to include that one as well. Now, as I mentioned before, they work with different log profiles, so whatever camera you're using and whatever log profile you're using, you can make it work really easily. And I'll tell you how to do that a bit later, but in order to do this, I filmed a load of example shots in different lighting conditions using this colour checker. Really handy tool. I'm going to be talking about this in a future video. But I also used a couple of different cameras as well, so I had different log profiles. And then I converted those log profiles to Rec 709. What? I didn't want to make this video technical, and we've gone there. But I'll try and simplify it a little bit because I don't know what I'm doing. And then I used that as the base. I could then match the colours of the two cameras and build the LUT from there. Now, any LUT that you use will require some tweaking. That's natural because all the cameras are slightly different. It depends on what settings you use, the lighting, the exposure, and then also what colours are in the frame as well. So you're going to need to tweak it a little bit, and I'm going to walk you through that. Now, the first step starts before you even press record. You want to make sure that your white balance is spot on and your exposure is perfect. Otherwise, no LUT will work, you'll be stuck, and then it's really difficult to colour grade. And obviously, if you've got a camera with a log profile in, that's going to work the best. Once you've filmed your footage, the first step is to download a correction LUT for your camera. If you're using Canon and you're using the C-Log, not the C-Log 2 or 3, but just the normal C-Log, you can just start from there. You don't need to do the correction log bit. And that's why I like C-Log so much, it's great. So here's some Vlog footage from the Lumix S5 camera. And the first thing to do would be to add the correction LUT. So I'm going to add the Vlog gamut. Here we go, and as you can see, there's a lot of contrast there. The colours look really good, but there's way too much contrast. So what I'm going to do is dial that back. I'm going to go all the way down and then bring it up until the colours start to look right, but just before there's too much contrast. So around there, and that's going to be different for most cameras really. So I can't give you an exact number, just see what happens, and we can always come back and tweak that. But that's going to be our starting place, and then we'll add our Retro LUT on top of that layer. I've got the Gamut V-Log LUT here, and then above I've added another custom LUT layer. So that's where you'd add all your colour and your grading LUTs and make any changes that you need. So let's have a look. Let's go on the motel, and then I mean that's pretty nice as it is, but we can just bring that mix down slightly so it's not overkill around here. And then so we've got the colours, and then we just go in and I'm going to adjust the contrast now. So I like to do it by using the wheels and then just adjusting this part here. So I'm going to pull the shadows down a little bit, and I want a nice dark feel to this. Bring the highlights up slightly just to give it a little bit more contrast. And that looks alright to me. Now it's very green, but this one is meant to be green. I like this sort of look, it's very dramatic. There we go, so I've hardly had to do anything. Just a couple of adjustments and that is it. So they're a great place to start from. Let's have a look at some more footage. This one's from the Canon C-Log. So same again. In fact, this time we don't have to add the correction LUT to begin with. So we only need that first layer. So let's go for 711 contrast. And as you can see, the contrast looks good. I mean, you can play with that mix again to bring some more of the natural colours in, or you can leave it as it is and then just adjust the wheels again and the contrast. If you want to bring the shadows down a little bit more, you can, and pull the highlights up. There. Let's see what this looks like across these other clips. Now, because I'd set the exposure correctly on all of these shots, I've not had to do anything. It's made it really simple. All of the shots look really good as they are. I've not had to tweak anything at all. Maybe this one is a little bit dark, but that's because, as you can see, most of that frame is filled up with the sky that's quite bright. So I like the way it looks, but if you wanted to, you could just go in and change that particular clip and bring the shadows up slightly just to expose her a little bit more, or even the mid-tones. There we are, look. Shadows down a little bit. There we go, but I quite like her in the dark. So let's try one without the contrast baked in to the LUT. Let's have a look at this one. So as you can see, the colours are there for us. That's our starting point this time. Then I'm going to add the wheels layer again and go in and pull the shadows down. Look at that, loads of flexibility there. Look at that, that's spot on already. That's all I've done. Just pulled the shadows down slightly and that's it, it's ready. If you want to bring up the saturation, now's the time to do so. But I quite like the way they are, if I'm honest. I don't like an oversaturated look. So as you can see, these LUTs are super flexible and really easy to use. Some of the LUTs that I've purchased in the past just have become unusable because the contrast is baked in, and if you try and change the intensity of it, it gets rid of the colour as well, so you can't get the look that you actually wanted to. So hopefully this has solved that problem for you as well as me, and you enjoy using them. But let me know if you've got any questions, and thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.